This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
Nope.
Not true.
Not true today.
Tyler should have edited that.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
He hasn't added his Easter eggs in there either.
We probably should,
What if we added our own Easter eggs in and see if Tyler notices? He won't. He doesn't listen to this podcast.
I might do that.
You should.
Tonight. I'll mix in Jones barbecue and foot massage into the intro.
Perfect.
Because when's he back? He won't be back Friday.
No, he's gone for 2 weeks.
We're not doing one next Tuesday. Then we do one next Friday. He might jump on for the Friday one next week, I would imagine.
Maybe. I'm going to see Tyler today.
Oh, yeah. You are going. Oh, wow. So we are down to a 2-man record.
I'll be back on Friday.
Out? Oh, you're back by Friday.
Okay. Got it.
Last minute.
I thought you were already gone, to be honest.
No, I was told we were not going to Montreal. So I kind of planned my life. Yeah. It's cold outside. I kind of thought, I'm going to be a hermit. I'm just going to stay inside. I'm going to play some video games. I got a couple of Lego sets I wanted to build.
There you go. Yep.
I got a new Batman I was excited about building.
Nice.
And then Jay goes, I lined up some meetings. We got to go. I'm like, okay, when are we going? He goes, Tuesday night, red eye. I'm like, oh.
Well, at least you're back for Valentine's Day. That's big.
Yes.
That is important.
In theory, provided that there are no interesting happenings with flights, which never happen.
No, not in Canada.
Smooth sailing always.
I don't think it's ever been safer. If I'm looking at the news reports.
Oh boy.
The travel itself is safe, but getting on the plane, that's the question. Will there be a plane there for you? Will you get on the plane?
We had our adventures in the playoffs, didn't we?
Yep.
The Nashville one is something, honestly, I will never forget and hope I can never relive.
Yes.
Those 2 days were a disaster.
Well, there's a bunch of it too, because we also got the free upgrade on the way home, and then that flight just didn't happen, and we never got that upgrade again.
It was going so well.
We were going to live the high life for the first and only time.
We were in the lounge. We're like, wow, those clouds are getting pretty dark. And they sure did. The most underrated part of the panic in it, and I think it was me and you, is when we got to Vancouver, we both got a notification on our phone being like, your flight has been canceled or delayed or whatever. I was like, how? It is dry here, but it was our flight from Nashville that we were supposed to be on got delayed.
Yep.
Traveling
is interesting.
I honestly hate it.
Just three of us
traveling, but the travel days,
the actual logistics of traveling is not fun.
Disastrous.
I agree. So I will be back for the Friday episode. Godspeed.
And Rick, maybe.
And Rick should be here. Rick is doing work things on his actual job today, which I imagine is lifting heavy weights.
I don't think we've ever had a 2-person show in our history.
I could not come if you want.
I think it's been 3 or more every time.
I'm trying to think of it maybe it's during COVID, if me and Tyler did a one-off one, maybe,
but we were all sitting at home doing nothing anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway, you just get the 3 of us today.
Yeah.
Tyler's still in Montreal. Rick lifting heavy things to try and get more swole.
Yep. I'm just lifting
boogers.
Whatever.
All right. Speaking of boogers, it's time for the delicious debate. Proud to partner with Odd Company to bring you the brand new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. It's perfect for the next big game, your next go-to lager. We got Canada-Sweden coming up tomorrow. Why not go get some suds for yourself? Find either Odd Company location here in the city or liquorconnect.com, which is basically a search engine for your beers. Find it at a liquor store near you. If it's not there, ask them why. Why?
Why?
The delicious debate today for you fellas. I never get to do this. So I came up with one. Unless you had one, Liam.
No, but I will say, I think we should rotate the delicious debate. I think every episode, someone else should have to come up with a delicious
I like that. Dan?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, Friday.
Hands in the middle. Voting
John,
yes?
Yes.
All
Friday,
in.
I'm on.
We're the majority anyway.
3-2. Vote passed.
Tyler,
Motion
Rick,
passed.
any objections?
No, unheard.
Okay,
All right, perfect. That ideal. Now, which one of us is going to be tasked with remembering that for Friday?
I'll do it for Friday.
Dan will do it for Friday.
Perfect.
We'll call it out.
Yep.
All right. Friday.
Delicious debate.
Delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company, gentlemen. I was cruising around socials this morning when I was prepping for the podcast, and I was just kind of in the search bar typing in 4 nations. I was just curious, vibe check essentially. Are people excited? Are they not? The answer is meh. Some are, a lot aren't. So my delicious debate question for you guys today, hindsight maybe, I don't know, maybe going forward, What could have the NHL done a little bit differently to get people more excited and engaged with the Four Nations tournament?
I mean, it's tough to say just because it is the first iteration and probably the only iteration.
They didn't even name their trophy
of a Four Nations tournament. I was going to ask you, did you Google the number 4 with nations or the letters 4?
Both. I did both iterations. I could have
sworn this is a Mandela effect. I'm pretty sure it was Four Nations a word for the longest time.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden it's like Four Nations one word with the number 4.
Yes.
Am I nuts? I feel like
I've seen both because like I know at Daily Faceoff we're doing letter 4.
Yeah.
Spelling out the word 4. But then I've also seen just number 4.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's one thing that should change.
I think
consistent spelling of the tournament titles.
Yes.
I think the initial tournament like announcements maybe were like that.
Okay,
just like a little bit more like media staunchy Four Nations, but
it also could be the Mandela effect in the sense that like that's a real thing.
Yeah,
totally. You know.
But so like to say that they've done improper promotion, I think that they're just like doing it the way that they've always done tournament promotion. So I think that once we get into the actual tournament, that's when people are going to start to get invested. It's a 2-week period of no hockey. Otherwise, what else do you have to watch? People are bored already. It was like last night, I was already looking around for things to do and I've got 2 more weeks to go. So
I played Spider-Man 2 last night. That's what I did.
There you go.
Oh, that's a good game.
It was a good game. It is a good game.
Yeah. I think Dan's right in the promotion part of things. Like it is something all NHL fans complain about is like how poorly the league is marketed. Yeah. Like, why would you expect anything different for an NHL event?
They had Crosby say Four Nations twice in a commercial.
Facing off.
Four Nations facing off.
I am getting more and more excited for this tournament now that we've seen the players on the ice together and like the Canada's power play. Like
we got a jersey out here that we'll be giving away next weekend.
Yeah. So
very nice jersey.
That's exciting.
Creamy and veiny.
What could the NHL have done differently? Like obviously everyone's going to look at adding the other teams. Like realistically, Russia was the only other team that could have been involved. I really don't think the European and like North American angle is like something that the NHL should do again. So just promotion, I guess, outside of like the one commercial, like, but it's kind of difficult too. Like they're promoting it now. Like all these players are talking about it. The thing, like now that they're in the moment, like I think that's the way to do it. They could have done cheaper, more reasonable tickets. I think that's one thing.
They are very expensive,
and it's ridiculous. So Frank was talking about it on, I think it was the Rundown. It was one of his podcasts. Just like Montreal historically hasn't always been great to host international events like World Juniors and stuff like that. So maybe you could have gone to a different city. But I do think when things get rolling, people will actually be invested.
One thing that occurred to me as you were saying that is maybe if they'd announced the rosters a little closer to the tournament.
Yeah, a little bit later.
But I mean, like, and I know you got to do logistics of all like getting the players there and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, perhaps then it wouldn't have been so much of a, I can't believe you didn't pick this guy because we have 2 months to watch Zach Hyman go out and score all the goals that he's going to score. And then they look like idiots for it. So
yeah.
One thing I could think of too a little bit is I wonder about the start times. I know that's a difficult thing to kind of do logistically. But tomorrow is 8:00 Eastern. So that's 6:00 here, 5:00 Pacific. So you're kind of ignoring the west side of the country a little bit.
Yeah, Canada. North America is just kind of a difficult spot, I guess, to do. But
But I also don't know what else you could do.
Well, sorry, it starts at 8
Eastern.
So that's 4. No,
6 here, 5 and
5. I guess 8:30.
Yeah, like I don't know what else you could do there. It's like a tricky spot to do the tournament in, unless you hold it in Winnipeg, dead center. I don't know how anybody gets there, but like, I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, when the playoffs come around, there's so many different teams. Although the times don't really matter too much. But, 8 p.m. Eastern. On Saturday, they play at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is obviously to help out the European fans because that's Finland versus Sweden. Championship game on a Thursday night.
And, like, does Finland have any chance in this tournament?
Our forward group is not bad. But that blue line...
We'll talk about the odds in the betting segment that I've got, but, like... Do they have any chance in this tournament?
Well, you can go to Daily Faceoff now to see the rosters.
So
the jerseys and line combos are up at dailyfaceoff.com.
Finland has used every defenseman that has played an NHL game this season has been called up besides Ville Oino, whatever his name is, on Winnipeg. Otherwise, they've used every single one. Like one of the defensemen I've never heard of before.
Oh, and that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah. Like their forward group should be fine. Like if they're going to win games, it's going to be like 3-2, 4-2.
Who's their goalie?
They have Jussi Saros, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and Kevin Lankinen.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, best name in the NHL, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great names on this Finnish team. Eetu Listerainen, Teuvo Teravainen, quite underestimated.
I love the alliteration of Teuvo Teravainen.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Anyway,
Capo Caco.
there's this debate I want to hear from you. What, if anything, could the NHL have done better to get people a little bit more hyped up about the Four Nations face-off? I think another angle on it is, I think Dan mentioned it, is like, this is a one-off tournament that's probably never going to happen again. Like I saw the trophy reveal today. No name for the trophy. It is just the trophy. Call it Kevin, like the wolf in my office.
I think it would be fine if they continue to do it like every 4 years.
I predicted that we will see a Six Nations tournament.
Well, eventually
They're more than 50% increasing the nations.
I have a feeling once
We would
Russia
do
stops its
16,
war, once Russia stops fighting,
then
Russia's in the mix.
And then what do you do?
And then it's probably, you probably have to look at like world championship ranking points at that point, but
Like a Czechia or something.
Or
That's
perhaps
probably the next one.
Perhaps we do a world team.
The thing with Czechia as well is their junior programs are getting way better.
Mhm.
Like they're meddling a lot, like the U18s, U17s, World Juniors and stuff now. So you would imagine that group eventually pushes their way to the NHL or to join in the group. So hopefully, like, I mean, it would be awesome if it was 6 teams because obviously, like, from a pure hockey perspective, everybody wants Russia there.
Yep.
Everyone does. Like, they have some of the best players in the world on that team. And like Czechia, like, it would be great to see David Pastrnak there. Like, the people like Leon Draisaitl is never going to be able to go to this event.
Unless they have a Europe team.
Yeah. And like, quite frankly, I don't want to see Germany there. I don't want to see a third line German player.
Yui
going up
Krupp
against
is upset with you.
I'm a what?
Yui Krupp.
I think I could get behind a world team.
A world team if there was 5 teams in there already. But I wouldn't.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
But I wouldn't do.
So you could add Russia, world team. There's your 6.
Yeah, I think that's not better.
That to me, that feels fair, and it gets the best players into the tournament.
Because that's the thing about them calling it the best on best tournament is like, well,
yeah,
a lot of the best players aren't allowed to.
And at the same time, like, again, it's geopolitical and it's all that, but like the tournament had its hands held. Like, it's the way it is. The behavior of a country just didn't allow them to be participating
I'm hoping
in this. So
that when the puck drops tomorrow, Canada and Sweden, I'll be more excited about it.
I think they will be. I think, what is it? Charlie McAvoy said today, it's like hockey heaven right now.
Mm.
All the best players, the majority of the best players in the world are in one
Some
place.
of the best players.
So some of
the rest of them are in somewhere warm, hanging out.
And Finland are all in Montreal.
Yeah, Mikko Rantanen and the rest of the Finns. Who would be the goalie on the rest of the world if Russia was to have a team? That's what I'm trying to think of. Like, who would that goalie be?
Cristobal Yue.
Where's Dostal from?
He's Czech. He would be a good one. Elvis Merzlikins would probably be one.
I don't appreciate that you're ignoring Cristobal Yue.
Your French or your France representation.
It's my apologies. Cristobal Yue would obviously be in the conversation. Karel Vejmelka, future Oiler.
Yep. There you go.
Anyway, I want to hear from you. Are you excited about the tournament? What could the NHL have done better to promote it or just get people more hyped up? That's a delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company.
Can I just add one more thing? Just a quick question.
Absolutely not.
Are you guys going to watch?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to watch every game.
Yeah,
I don't know about every game.
No, every Canadian game.
Oh, yes. I'm just being realistic.
There's only 2 other games you'd have to watch? That's the thing, I think, again, when it's only 4 nations, you've got to spread this damn tournament out for 2 weeks.
Well, and in week 2, there's only 3 games the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they play Wednesday, Thursday, and then 2 games on Saturday. Then they fly to Boston, play Monday, and then the finals Thursday. It's pretty quick.
It's just add in more teams, and I think you'll have a fun.
And from an Oilers perspective, they hit the road right after that.
Right into Philly. 11 a.m. game, brunch for Benday.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m. game.
All right.
For the kids.
Okay.
Or the kids.
Sold out, by the way. Thank you to everybody that got your tickets for brunch for Ben. Appreciate that. Want to tell you also, since we were talking about Four Nations face-off, Liam, here's the thing. The Mandela effect. In our ads sheet, it is spelled out 4.
I knew it.
There's shenanigans and trickery going on behind the scenes here, friends. But what I want to tell you is that on February 15th, that is next week, or I guess this week. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah,
I keep thinking it's Friday. Canada versus USA. Don't miss the ultimate showdown of talent and passion. Come on down to watch the nations with the nation at Greta on February 15th. Your host, Aaron Bordato, will be hosting the festivities along with some of the other Oilers Nation crew. Tickets are just $10. And if you're looking to upgrade your experience, we've got a VIP option for $40, which includes a Greta burger, delicious, a beverage, and a game card. To really up your evening, I recommend challenging Waz to some kind of game.
Anything, you'll probably beat him.
Yeah. Wow. Why can't we use a little confidence in our lives?
Yeah,
of course, I'm picking on Waz today because when he walked into the office, he just refused to acknowledge me today. Now I'm staring at him.
The other day, I came into the office and he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm good. He's like, "How's your health?"
Had you had an issue of some kind?
No.
Oh.
Just asked me. He's like, "Don't you have a lower back issue?" I'm like, "What is going on?"
And
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. It was so strange. Paid an hour into it and jokingly asked me every day how my lower back is.
Well, how is it?
It's fine.
You tighten in the core? Is that what kind of solved those issues you were having?
Well, I've recently been getting some dry needling. You ever had dry needling?
No, but I've wanted to.
Oh, it's intense.
Good intense or bad intense?
The first one is crazy. As you gradually go, it gets easier. But yesterday I went and they put it in the wrong spot. My whole body just reacted. It was like the craziest thing. Like they do on my knee as well.
Makes your body it's like it's dying. It's like the death.
Death
flails.
Kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
So not that I've died before, but I would imagine it feels like the way it did yesterday where you poke the wrong part of my spine.
Oh, I've always wanted to, but I'm also scared.
It is scary. I made a joke on the first time. So I get on my back of my knee and I never look at the needles because it's crazy to think about.
Hold on, you're on your back and your knee?
Not at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Separate.
I was going to say, I was just trying to.
So,
yeah.
Also, who are these people that are just like, I want to watch it go in?
I know. Like, I don't want to meet these people. They sound crazy. But when she did it on my back, I said after, I was like, yeah, like, she's like, how was it? I was like, it was fine. Like, like putting stuff in your back is just like an uncomfortable feeling. She's like, yeah, everyone thinks that, but like the knee is way worse. And I was like, well, it's okay. I have two knees. Not a laugh. Couldn't believe it. I thought that one would have got a little tickle.
Panned ya.
Yeah.
Tough. Get out of my office. So proud.
Get out of my clinic.
Anyway, join us at Greta. Four Nations facing off.
Saturday night.
Actually, you know what? I think Canada-USA is going to be a ripping game.
I think Canada is going to beat the piss out of them, if I have to be honest.
Yeah?
I really think Canada's roster is so slept on. Like I think the players they have are so much better.
The only thing I don't know about Canada's roster is goaltending relative to US.
But that blue line is incredible.
It is.
And I think that's just going to negate it all. Like the thing is with like Aiden Hill, his save percentage is low, but like sometimes he only faced like 15 shots a game. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So like maybe if he lets in 2 or 3, like it doesn't look great, but like I think he'll be fine. It looks like it's going to be Jordan Binnington that's going to be the star again.
Old Benny, they call him.
Bin Daddy.
Just not great. Not ideal.
Fourth best goalie.
But hey,
Canadian goalie.
When you get the chance to start your fourth best goalie, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
It feels like the American team is more of a squad to me.
Tyler was telling me on the show today that the Team USA is coming across as like a very like relaxed, is how we put it, but Team Canada was like professional. Oh. They had dialed in on everything and like obviously a bit more. When I say leadership, I don't mean it in like the terms of like the US doesn't have leadership, but like Crosby, Brad Marchand, Drew Doughty, of course.
A lot of winners on that team.
Yeah, like Canada has 2 Stanley Cup champion goaltenders. The USA does not. And Hellebuck is the best goalie in the league by a million miles for sure. But like, I always think about like, and I know his numbers were good, but like think back to the playoffs last year, like Colorado just blew up their offense and it just went all out on Winnipeg and they beat them in 5 games, whatever it was. I'm like, Hellebuck's beatable. It's not easy to do, but like when you have the offense Canada has, I think they can figure it out.
That's a hell of a plug for Greta, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, holy cow. I want to talk about the Oilers being tied for first after losing to the Colorado Avalanche. Liam gave us a history of goaltending again. Tickets available, nationgear.ca. Go get them.
There was actually one other crazy thing about the goaltending. Did you see Peter DeBoer and Bruce Cassidy said they didn't want Logan Thompson on the team for because of the drama it could bring. Because they both coached him in Vegas. So does it make you wonder what he's all about?
Yeah.
If both those guys say it, it's interesting.
That is interesting. You know what though? Pro athletes, sometimes they're assholes.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are.
You know what?
But from a goalie perspective,
he's been great.
That's what I mean. It's like, I guess it would be similar to what people talked about with Mike Smith, in the way that he behaved, and he would hold defensemen pretty fucking accountable if they were.
No, he would yell at them. Yeah. I still think the Oilers should hire him just to yell at people on the bench.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe he was the same way, but
who knows? Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was very interesting.
That is interesting.
All right.
Wrinkle.
Oilers currently tied for first with Vegas, though they do have the tiebreaker because they've got 34 wins in 55 games. Vegas is 33 and 56. So Oilers do hold the tiebreaker there, though they did lose to the Colorado Avalanche. That game was annoying. It was frustrating. Didn't help the goaltending conversation much.
No, it did not. Which I'll fully admit. Oilers Nation every day. The chat has not been great. So
why? What's going on?
The goalie conversation is so frustrating because I 100% agree with both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Stuart Skinner needs to be significantly better in big games. And it's unfortunate for him that they came in back-to-backs. Toronto, obviously a huge game, fell flat on his face with a poor first period, does the same thing against Colorado. And would John Gibson make this team better? I think the answer is yes. But when you break it all down, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me on how it would 100% work.
What are you thinking?
What do I think?
Yeah.
On how I would make it work?
Yeah, how's it working?
I don't think it even can work cap-wise.
Because he's 6, what?
He's 6'4", not for 2 more years after this one. But I remember original Puzar was telling us the Oilers can't make, and hopefully I'm not wrong on this. If I am, he'll let me know. The Oilers can't make a deal combining both their LTIR space and their accrued cap. So their standard salary cap.
I thought Puckpedia dispelled this.
They were incorrect.
Okay,
and then he corrected himself.
Perfect.
That's what happened. So I'm pretty sure this is how it works. So essentially the Oilers can't combine their caps together. They essentially have 2 caps. So if they were to go out and get John Gibson, they would have to get him within Evander Kane's salary cap. And then the assumption would be Evander Kane obviously wouldn't play the rest.
So that's 525.
So you would have to ask Anaheim to retain on a $6.4 million deal for 2 more years. Does that not just seem incredibly unrealistic? The other part of it too is John Gibson said he would only come to a team that he could be the star in. So you can say goodbye to Stuart Skinner. The other part of that is, why would Anaheim want Stuart Skinner when they have Lucas Dostal? I think they would.
He's only got 1 year left.
Maybe. I guess that would be a part of it. I think Calvin Pickard, if they were to pick one of the two, would be more of a fit.
Well, why would the Oilers trade him?
Exactly. I don't see the Oilers trading either of them. I think.
Let me ask you a question that I also discovered as I was cruising the Twitter machine. Do you think there's any chance or even a good idea that Chris Knobloch start Calvin Pickard as the starter for a little bit of a run here after they get back? He's been the more consistent, at least the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the idea. I just don't see Knobloch doing it. Personally, I think that we're still kind of in a platoon regiment where you're seeing Pickard almost every second night. If not, it may get closer to 50-50 split, but we've seen this movie now 2 years in a row with I guess not Knobloch last year, but at the start of the year, but this year when Skinner was struggling, they just kind of slid more towards Pickard, but didn't take Skinner out of the net at any one time, clearly. So to me, I think that we're just kind of doing the typical fan overreaction thing, leading us into a 2-week break. Of course, he has that game. So just, I don't know. When Stan Bowman spoke to Pierre LeBrun over at The Athletic,
Goaltending was not on his shopping list.
He also spoke to DMB as well of The Athletic. I think that came out yesterday and said the same thing. He said, which I'm sure people loved. He's like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know what people want. Like, he's like, what did he say? It was something along the lines of like, yeah, like currently it's like a bad trend for Skinner, but he's like, everybody fully believes in his capability to turn it on when the time comes. He described him, which I thought was quite funny, of like Corey Crawford-like, but he also mentioned that Corey Crawford got that criticism after they had won 2 Stanley Cups. Yes. Well, that feels a little bit different, to be honest. But
he also got that big deal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I just don't think as much as like we all want to scream at the clouds and all this stuff of like, Oilers need to do this and scream at each other, like
at the McLeods.
Scream whatever you want. I don't think the Oilers are listening to you.
Yeah.
I think
he said to LeBron, left shot depth forward is kind of
and that's basically what he said to
left shot D-man depth forward.
Yeah, and when we were talking to Louis today, he basically said the same thing.
What else did Lou Dog say?
He said he actually sees a goaltending, bringing in another goaltender could disrupt this team's like Stanley Cup aspirations. He thinks the goaltenders are very well liked in the room. The team actually does believe in them. Like, and he said again, he's like, the trend obviously doesn't look good for Skinner, but like, I don't know. I fully believe in him to turn things around. And like, look, like I think the other part of it too is the Oilers are currently playing John Klingberg as a top 4 right defenseman who has played 5 games this season and is 50 games behind the 8 ball. Like, I think they have other things to worry about. And
I do too.
I cannot see them just going in John Gibson. Now, I will say, I think if the Oilers don't win the Stanley Cup this year, or even if Skinner is a problem in the playoffs, I 100% believe they will go and address it in the summer.
Yeah, I think I said this last week or the week before that Stan Bowman doesn't have any ties to any of these players.
Which is a good thing.
He's going to probably take the full year of evaluation and then make his decisions from there.
I get it from a fan base perspective. Like, you just want this team to be number 1 in every statistical category ever.
There's
like,
very few teams ever that.
I would love that. Yes. Yeah, but that's kind of, I think, the part where it's just, I keep telling people, like, and it sounds basic. It sounds like I'm trying to dismiss you, but go watch other teams play hockey. Like, there are a bunch of teams in this league that have Stuart Skinner in their net. It's just a different version of him, and they're struggling with it or they're happy with it at different times. Like, it's just, I get it as a fan base. Like, you want everything to be perfect, but like, he's a good goalie. He's not the greatest. He's a good goalie that's got us in the playoff picture. Like, I don't know. I understand this drive for perfection, but every single team has an issue on their team. If it's Winnipeg, sure, they don't have to worry about goaltending, but they have other issues that their team and their fan base is clamoring for. So it's just,
I also think like a lot of people, like, the goaltending tiers in the NHL are very, very real.
Yep.
Like, if you look at Andre Vasilevsky's numbers this year, you go, sparkling again. Everybody has to be him. Well, there's not all of him. There's one of him. And everybody else is kind of slightly down from there. And it just kind of goes in chunks.
It's kind of only like 4 or 5 great goalies in the NHL.
Totally.
Everyone else is pretty average.
It's the same thing as like, Oilers need a number 1 D-man. Well, again, there's like 10 of them.
No kidding.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand the passion from the fan base, and like,
I love the passion.
I agree.
They're all very handsome too.
There is no denying
your goaltending anger turns Liam on.
Yes. There's no denying that like the Oilers need an improvement in goal, but it's becoming such a divide. It's kind of crazy. I honestly, like, maybe you guys would know a bit better. Like, I don't recall since I've worked here, at least, like a conversation that has like divided the fan base so much.
I've got it for you.
Okay.
And you were working here. Evander Kane last year.
That didn't feel like every time I went on Twitter, that's all it was.
But like I think for like the last 4 years, John Gibson has been a constant in our lives.
He's the new Drew Stafford.
He's the
new Drew Stafford.
It's always a conversation, and it just never works. And like, we're not even talking about the part that, like, he manufactured this, first of all.
Yeah.
This is all completely John Gibson created. And the second thing that's craziest to me is he said in his statement he wants to be a starter. Like, you're not even a starter in Anaheim. You can't just go around and tell other teams that you're going to go to their team and be their starter. Like, that's just, it screams like Michael Scott walking into the room. Bang, I declare bankruptcy. Like, okay, John, thanks.
So the rumor is us in Carolina that are like his two top teams. It would be very funny if him and Freddie Anderson just like matched up again.
Yeah.
And then Freddie Anderson finally got the job, I guess you could say. But like, I just, again, as frustrating as like, there'll be a lot of people who listen to this who don't agree with us, and that's fine. But like, I really just don't think it's an option.
I just don't see it happening in season.
No, me neither. Off season makes a lot more sense.
Off season, I could totally see it. Draft, let's talk about it. But like, it's not going to happen right now.
I would encourage people to
I think of Frank Saravalli on Oilersnation every day last week. What do you say? 4th or 5th option?
4th or 5th. People did not like that. That's the other thing too. That's very funny. Is like,
well, he said a thing I don't like.
Yeah, like we put out a clip the other day of me basically saying what like Frank had just said and what we just said here. Like, doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of categories, and like he's probably 4th or 5th on the option because of Frank, and people are quoting it, but like just so angry about it. He's like, I'm not. It's not even my opinion. That just seems like it's a pure fact. From
also,
Frank.
Guess what? You can't make the trades.
You'd be surprised how many people think I have influence on the team.
I'd like to see you make some trades. You've really been slacking since you got here. Me and Dan have been talking about it. You haven't made a single trade.
You're just this side of Bob Stauffer for efficacy right now. I'm just saying.
I want to talk about some positive Oilers news, though. Leon Draisaitl is having a ridiculous season. Got his 40th goal of the year against the Avs. He is now 6 40-goal seasons with the Oilers. That is the 3rd most in franchise history. Jari Kurri had 7. Wayne Gretzky had 9. I don't know if you've heard of those guys, Liam. They played before you got here.
Before he started with the nation.
That's right. So I just want to talk about Leon really quickly. Like, there was an article that was circling socials the other day about how this tournament is Nathan McKinnon's chance to cement himself as the best player in hockey right now. It's okay, whatever. It's just an opinion from a writer. Leon is having a ridiculous year. And to see those two going back and forth with points on Saturday night, as much as it was annoying because the Oilers end up losing, man, that was good watching. That was good sports.
Yeah, it was. And I think that's what you want from like what a way for the NHL, I guess, to end going into the break as well, is seeing some of the best players going head to head. And Draisaitl really did drag the Oilers into that battle as well with the goals. Like the one from the knees was crazy.
Ridiculous.
Also, Mackenzie Blackwood, kind of bad in that game. But nevertheless, the most disappointing part, not to put it into a negative, is like McDavid was the 4th best player on the ice. You know what I mean? And, well, not even the 4th out of those 4. But yeah, Draisaitl. There was the Athletic made a poll again. I think it was from the fans this time of like who they would vote for the Hart Trophy, and Draisaitl was 56%. McKinnon was like 41%, and the rest was the rest.
This is it's just awesome that, and I love all of it's happening just a few short months after him signing that extension. Yeah, we're getting playoff Draisaitl in the middle of the season. He is just an absolute freak right now, and I love it. I hope he's having a wonderful vacation wherever he's at.
I know where it is.
South of France.
Oh, we're doxing him.
Yeah, the south of France.
It's a pretty big swath of the map.
If you find him, you tell him the boys on ONR. He sent you.
Yeah, please say Liam, Dan, and BM said hello.
Those guys again. They're always telling everybody where I am. I thought I was safe in the south of France.
Just have to follow Celeste.
Well, they got some wedding plan to do. Go ahead, Liam.
The other good news from Draisaitl's contract is like the salary cap going up as well. No, he's just like he's not. He's
like if he had waited a year to sign that extension,
who knows what, like 18?
Yeah,
is that crazy? Thank God the others signed him up when they did. Now
they're saying 20 for Connor.
Let me think about that.
But how do we fit Rantanen on Marner? That?
I just saw like the McDavid
makes a good point.
Would be the first person to be able to make a case for it.
My guess is, and I'm sticking with it even with the increase, is McDavid 18.
Depends what happens this season, I think. If they win and he gets that feeling of like, that was awesome. Imagine if I took $3 million less than I'm supposed to.
Yeah, but the marketability of the NHL, I feel like, is at a point now where it's like they want a $20 million player. They need that.
Who would even be next after him to get a big deal? Obviously, there's not many players.
Makar, isn't he like due in a year or two?
Is he? Yeah, and he's not exactly like a poster boy. Like he's not.
Mitch Marner is due next summer.
Yeah, if he gets 20 million, then we're all.
I hope he does.
Then money doesn't mean anything anymore.
You know what? I hope he does. He's earned it, in my opinion, but only in Toronto.
Throw it out the window.
Surely he leaves, right?
I don't think so. I bet they re-sign him.
Tavares is at the end of his deal. So
Yeah,
that would kind of help it.
He said he wants to resign, but like you give him what, 6, 7? Does he sign that? I don't know. But to stay in Toronto, he would have to.
I guess right now it doesn't even matter. It's all about what he does in the playoffs. If he doesn't show up in the playoffs again, I think there's less than 10% chance.
I think Mitch Marner will be a Leaf next year.
Be interesting. New coach, similar to your
new coach seems to like him.
Will he like him in the playoffs when he's not getting down blocking shots?
Well,
they get knocked out again in the first round.
That's not how they raise him out in Calahoo. Craig Berube done set over that shit.
There's a kid from Calahoo on the crew one year, and he would throw his body in a lot of stuff. Yep. He was a great defensive player.
Well, it's because he grew up in a town where the water tastes like blood.
Craig Berube's blood.
I swear, I used to play hockey in Calahoo all the time growing up, and the water tasted like well water, just like straight from the well. I don't know.
Iron.
There's a lot of iron.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty.
Not tasty. Bring your own water to the Calahoo rink. That's how I was raised. Looking at some of the rumors. One Francesco Saravalli, Francis actually, linked Kyle Palmieri as a potential target for the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh boy. Wouldn't that suck?
Go ahead.
I don't know. He doesn't penalty kill. He's 1 million years old.
Derek Brassard, anybody?
I don't know. I don't see.
Is he 1 million years old? He's been around for
34, 35.
Yeah, he's 34.
I think he's a good player in all seriousness, but I just don't see him as
37 points in 55 games.
a great fit for the Oilers.
His 16 goals would be what, top 3 in Edmonton right now?
Yeah, I kind of like Ryan Donato.
Ryan Donato's also been come up. I got him listed as well. Noah Dobson. That name has, man, I would love whatever. Yep, let's do it.
I would honestly do whatever.
Yep, yes. Let's figure it out. Let's do it.
That one I'm willing to John Gibson the hell out of it.
Yes, I am.
And figure that out. I like, even if it's
we'll workshop that one. If there's an opportunity, yep, let's figure it out.
It would be so Lou Lamoriello to keep Kyle Palmieri and Brock Nelson and trade Noah Dobson.
But I think like the Kyle Palmieri like talk, and there's a defenseman that keeps coming up too, where it's just like those feel like
from the Oilers.
Yeah, they feel like I think he was like number 6 or 7 on Frank's list, but it's just like they're just names where it's like, okay, like if that's the name that we bring in as like the last minute on trade deadline day, sure. But if that's the only thing we're doing, God help us. Or not God help us, but it's just like
there's some work to be done.
There's still needs to be more transactions made. And again, if we talk about Liam's thing where it's you can only make 2 transactions.
They just, so they can make a few under the 5 million if they wanted to, but it's essentially Evander Kane's cap hit is what they got to try and balance away.
So there's way more pressing needs than an aging Kyle Palmieri.
Ryan Lindgren. Is that you?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Just any of those defensemen that can play the right side that are serviceable names. Nothing excites me right at this moment. I'm hoping that there's going to be an exciting transaction for us, but if one of those names that ends up on our team, okay.
Yeah. Can I start a trade rumor?
Yes.
Now, this one's not fancy by any means.
Okay.
So we've had Bowman say it, like they want a left shot defenseman. Louis DeBrusk said it as well to Dave. And the idea around it is, okay, on your right side, you have Bouchard, Klingberg, Emberson, and Stetcher. If someone goes down on that right side, there's someone you can replace him with. Even if it's Bouchard, like Klingberg can still be that offensive guy. If someone goes down on the left, you're in deep trouble.
Marcus Niemelainen's not there anymore?
No, the Griffin.
You're in Ben Gleason territory, baby.
We are. I'm looking at Brian Dumoulin.
I thought you were going to say Luke Hughes.
He was actually next on my list.
Okay.
Luke Hughes.
If you can't get Dumoulin.
If you can't get Dumoulin, get Luke Hughes. So Dumoulin is on Anaheim. They got him for a 4th round pick this summer from Seattle. He's 33 years old. Won 2 Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh when he went back-to-back. He is a depth defenseman. Bottom 6, bottom pairing guy. Can come in, penalty kill for you. He is by no means nothing fancy. His underlying numbers are basically exactly what Brett Kulak's were when the Oilers acquired him from Montreal. Besides the offensive ones.
I do love me a Brett Kulak.
He is, again, not an offensive guy, 13 points in 54 games this year. But he's a guy who's probably not going to cost you very much that you could throw into your lineup anytime throughout the playoffs and he would go out there and be reliable. 6'4", 214 pounds, left shot, 33 years old. If he's a third and a middling prospect, let's just say, throw a name in there, James Stefan Petrov, someone like that, then what are you losing out on, right? Like, I think Dumoulin could be a pretty good ad for this team.
Is he making like $1.5 million?
He makes, let me look really quickly. It is fairly low. I don't think it's quite $1.5 million. It's 3.15, but Anaheim has some retention spots and they have a maximum. They only have Cam Fowler and he is a UFA at the end of the year. The others did get cap retention on Brett Kulak. If you remember, that was a second round pick of William Lagesson and I think a fourth or fifth. Second round
Willie
pick ends up being Lane Hudson. So that's whatever.
It's worth trying, you know.
Would you guys do that? Is that kind of the player you would look at as well?
I think it's probably the most realistic, right?
Yeah, that's the way I tried to view it. Yeah. He's on Frank's board. I can't remember what number he is, but he's on there.
The other thing I want to mention before 22. We get to some betting talk and keys to victory for Canada, Sweden, boys. Tyler asked a couple of questions of some current Oilers at Media Day yesterday. Matthias Ekholm specifically got a few answers out of him, and I thought they were pretty interesting. What is it like to go up against Connor McDavid, the 3-time Hart Trophy winner? Of course, they are teammates here in Edmonton, but they won't be tomorrow. Ekholm laughed. He says, I think I'm living in denial right now. It's going to be interesting. I've gone up against him before, and before I got to Edmonton, and he's a great player. I play against him in practice every day, so I see it firsthand. Obviously, he's not the only one that's good on that team, so it's going to be a challenge for us overall. Like Liam said, Canada is very, very deep. Also asked if he'll be matched up against McDavid in the lineups. He goes, it'll be interesting to find out how that pans out. I want to win, and I know he's wired the same way, so it won't be friends out there, but I'm sure afterwards, hopefully we can have a laugh about it. When asked about giving his other fellow Swedish defenseman advice on stopping McDavid, Ekholm said, that's the beauty of him, right? I don't think he has any patterns or anything where you can say, play like this against him and you'll be good. I don't really have advice. You're just going to have to be on your toes at all times and don't end up in a foot race against him. You will lose. So there's a couple of quotes from Matthias Ekholm playing against his teammate, Connor McDavid, tomorrow.
When you look at the Sweden blue line, it's actually pretty stacked.
Who they got?
So the first pairing is Hedman and Jonas Brodin. Second pair is Ekholm Karlsson. The third pairing is Forsling and Rasmus Dahlin. The seventh defenseman is Rasmus Andersson. So really, if there's a blue line,
that is a solid group.
That's a really good. Don't ask me about the forward group. It's quite frankly not that good anymore. But all three of those pairings, I think you can put up against a McDavid and have a chance to do something. You have a Hedman. Obviously, McDavid has a great highlight against him, but he's still Victor Hedman. Ekholm, maybe just McDavid will skate on Karlsson's side. And then Forsling just defended against McDavid in the Stanley Cup final and did pretty good for himself. So that forward group is tough.
Sweden had a good run of forwards for a long time.
Yeah.
With the Sedin brothers.
They're just always quietly steady, aren't they? Swedish people.
But yeah. Should I read
their teams?
Lines?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So first line from left to right, Forsberg, Elias Pettersson, Adrian Kempe, second
Patrick
line.
Forsberg, right?
Yeah, Patrick. Ricardo Raquel, Tyler's friend. Mika Zibanejad, William Nylander. Third line is Jesper Bratt, Joel Eriksson Ek, Lucas Raymond. Fourth line is Victor Arvidsson. Somehow, Elias Lindholm and Gustav Nyquist. I don't remember who their extra forward is.
Did you say Elias Pettersson? He's not on that team?
He did, yeah. He's
Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm.
He said him first.
Elias Pettersson is at first line.
When do they play USA?
Second game. Third game.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I'm honestly incredibly curious to see what.
And it's going to be one of those ones where nothing probably happens, but in my head, I'd like to think something happens.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be Pettersson that does anything.
No, of course, yeah, no, it would be.
No. JT Miller, if he's going to get his pound of flesh, it'll be happening in that game. Again, I don't think anything happens. So.
It might actually happen.
I hope so.
It's good. Obviously,
Mic those boys up for that game anyway.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear them yelling at each other.
It's too bad Quinn Hughes isn't at this tournament because
he would have had to play like peacemaker in the middle.
Yeah, like you wonder what if something was to happen, like what he would do. I mean, it's different now because
it's like, well, that guy's not my teammate anymore, but he's my teammate here.
Yeah, like do you tell him to like chill out because you obviously know what's happened, but then the
he'll probably just scream at you too.
Yeah, they didn't get along either, so I don't know. JC Miller.
Let's talk a little betting ahead of tomorrow's game, Canada-Sweden. The betting segment is brought to you by our friends at Bet365, a proud partner of Oilersnation Radio and proud owner of most of my money from Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm up $1.
Are you?
Yeah.
Open an account with Bet365 today. I bet on a huge range of markets. Use the code NATION. The code is NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Got some bets for you. We're just going through the standards. Canada on the money line, boys, heavily favored tomorrow. They are minus 250. Fair or unfair?
They play Sweden?
Sweden.
Fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Puck line. So the Oilers have to win by 2 or more, plus 200. How do you feel about the puck line?
The puck line is plus 200.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think these games, do you know what? Like, because it's such a short tournament and the points format is different. If you win in regulation, it's 3, overtime is only 2. I wonder if teams will pull their goalies sooner. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
So no, I don't think that's fair. I think it should be plus 150.
Over under set at 6. How do you feel about the over under? The over is minus 105. The under is minus 115.
I think with that,
who's the goalies for Sweden?
Omar Gustafsson and Markstrom pulled out. Also, they have Samuel Ersson or whatever his name is. Yeah, overs. I wouldn't go with the over in many of these games. To be honest, maybe if the net empty, yeah, I'll go over.
You just talked yourself out of the under.
I'm going under on these. I think.
Yeah, I would probably go under. I think too.
I probably see 3-2, 3-1 games.
I think there's so many good players out there that the quality of execution will be high, but it also raises the bar for getting goals. I think maybe.
Yeah, that is always part of it. It's like, yeah, these goalies are great, but these are also the best attackers in the world.
Yep. And they're all on the same line.
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon, plus 155 to score a goal. Our beloved Connor McDavid is plus 230 to score a goal. Victor Arvidsson, when I looked this morning, didn't even have odds.
Always good.
He probably shouldn't have odds most Oilers games, to be fair.
I was like, I'll give the boys some odds. Can't find them. All right.
Stay tuned.
Special request. Let's go.
Tournament winner. In case you're wondering, we haven't got started yet. Canada favored to win plus 140, then the USA plus 150, Sweden plus 425, and nobody believes in Finland plus 850.
Probably a good call.
We're down a couple of
Their forward group is good. Like their top 6, Terry Lehkonen, Barkov, Rantanen, Rope Hintz, Sebastian Aho,
There's a lot of good players.
Patrick Laine.
They're going to beat
But then
Sweden.
their blue line, their top pairing is Nico, Mikala, and Esa Lindell.
I'm for sure I have one of those in my living room.
Is that right?
Billy bookcase.
I think Sweden's going to finish 4th.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
I know.
Although Finland-Sweden gets spicy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. I'm actually
Saturday
quite
morning.
excited for that.
So there you go. There's your betting odds on the 4 nations heading into the game 1 tomorrow. Canada and Sweden. Let's wrap it up with a keys to victory. What does Canada need to do? I want to tell you to go into Oodle Noodle. Oodle Noodle is giving away a trip for 2 on the nation vacation to Vegas. That's coming up in March. All you got to do is just walk in any of the Edmonton locations. You'll get a ballot to enter the draw. If you buy something to eat, which of course you should, you get a second entry. Just like that. 2 entries into the draw. Also, if you get a Tokyo Glaze here in Q1, which is Jan, Feb, March, Oodle Noodle will be donating 10% of those boxes to Sports Central as well. That is the community box for Q1. I'm a big fan of the Tokyo Glaze. I like to spice it up though a little bit. Keys to victory, gentlemen. First game of the 4 Nations tournament. We don't know what to expect. We don't know that we'll ever see this tournament again, nor have we ever seen it before. However, Canada, Sweden tomorrow. Liam, we want our boys to win. We want them to start off the tournament with a W. How's it going to happen?
Great question. Just be Canada. Like we are.
Like the World Juniors Canada?
No, although there was news about that today. Did you see it?
No.
They're putting in a general manager and they're calling it like Pursuit of Excellence program. So similar to the development, but I don't think I'll have a team.
No.
But I do like that approach. It's different, but much needed after the World Juniors tournaments recently. But anyway, go out there. They have tons of international experience, tons of Stanley Cup champions. The talent they have is amazing. You should be able to outclass Sweden. So just be Canada.
Dan, what do you got? Key to victory.
I mean, I'm kind of making it up as I go. Like, I mean, I think that Canada just could be a victim of some refereeing here. So just try not to stay try to stay out of the penalty box, I guess. Try not to play outside of the whistles. I feel like this is going to be called like an international tournament, but
I think it's NHL rules, isn't it?
I genuinely don't know.
I think so. Something that came up that I thought about actually, there was a lot of conversation about like the players that Canada talk, like, you know, like your Sam Bennett's, Hagel, stuff like that. But like the conversation after the World Juniors, and obviously different levels of tournament, but was like Canada isn't like this big bully team anymore. Like they're trying to be like skilled and all this. Like I feel like this team is like such a good mix that you're gonna get that physicality from Canada, which I think is actually what will help them go undefeated in the tournament.
In theory,
I would say key to victory. Don't try and be too fancy with all of the incredibly skilled players in the lineup. Yeah. I feel like the temptation to try and make really nice all-star game type plays is probably going to be there for those guys. If you keep it simple though, I think you're probably going to have a better chance just to win outright.
I agree.
Maybe keep it simple, which could be a challenge for a group as talented as this one.
Yeah. Can't wait to figure out which narrative of ours was correct.
All of them.
Out Friday.
That's true.
All of them.
That could be your delicious.
That could be your delicious debate. Again, Tyler, Rick, not here. Outvoted.
Yeah.
I think we should do more of this. Just voting on initiatives when it's only the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is good.
There you have it.
Can really change up the pace of the show.
I think we should do the next show standing.
Take all the chairs out of here.
Something to think about.
Tyler would be so mad.
He would be.
He would be really mad.
Just leaning up against a bar.
He'd yell at you like he did that one time about.
Yeah, Raphael Lavoie, if he was a top 6 player, which history proved me correct.
That was crazy. I forgot all about that. He was having a bad day.
Yeah, he yelled at me.
It's tough.
He literally said, "Why are you yelling at me?" I'd love to find that episode again.
We need to do that where we can just call back to clips and then play the clip.
Well, I had this idea too, like if we're workshopping an idea of just like, we're starting to get better of keeping track of our like guesses and takes and stuff, but like revisiting some of the really bad ones we've had, because there's got to be plenty.
Tons.
Bring back Kennedy's game.
Could do some Kennedy's game.
That's right.
That's where
I'll ask Kennedy to go and find that clip of you getting yelled at. That would have been
It should be a button, a cold performer button. Why are you yelling at me? All right.
It must have been at the start of last season.
Yeah, it would have been before the start of last season, because we were talking about if Raphael Lavoie had the chance to play in the Oilers top 6. And I said, boys, I remember the argument was because I was like, boys, he's never even played a game. Why are we putting him in the top 6 on the Edmonton Oilers? They're supposed to be a Stanley Cup contender. And then Tyler yelled at me.
I'm gonna search for that tonight. I'm gonna look.
If you have it, send it to us.
Yeah, it wasn't this year because by that time this year he was
already gone. He was in Vegas. Which, by the way, how's he doing over there?
I
completely forgot he existed.
He got called up.
I don't think he's played every game in Henderson.
He struggled to start the year. He has 16 points in 29 games. He's played 4 games for Vegas, has 0 points -2.
So he should have a higher game total than that.
Worthy of Tyler yelling at me for this player. Not even here anymore. All right, guys. Score prediction tomorrow: Canada and Sweden.
I'm going to say 6-2 Canada.
I love it, Dan.
I'm going to say 3-1 Canada.
Wait a minute, didn't you bet the under?
Yes, you did.
I changed my mind. I'm an over man.
Mid prediction changed.
I'm going to go 4-1 because I'm betting the under tomorrow, but that is 4-1 for Canada.
Oh,
enjoy the tournament, everybody. We'll be back on Friday, and then again, no Tuesday episode next week. We'll be back next Friday. 2 Fridays in a row. Got it? Good. Have a great weekend, everybody. Or week, whatever day it is.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.